I've been really obsessed with tracking time recently, like making sure I have daily activities, I have habits that I'm maintaining, and I'm very religious about making sure I get shit done.
Do you use an app or something like that?
No, just Google Sheets. So basically a spreadsheet, and I'm tracking daily, and I write scripts that whenever I achieve a goal, it glows green.
Yeah. Do you track your workouts and all that kind of stuff too?
No, just the fact that I got the workout done.
Yeah.
So it's a check mark thing. So I'm really, really big on making sure I do a thing. It doesn't matter how long it is. So I have a rule for myself that I do a set of tasks for at least 5 minutes every day. And it turns out that many of them I do way longer, but just doing it, I have to do it every day. And there's currently 11 of them. And it's just a thing. Like one of them is playing guitar, for example. So do you do that kind of stuff? Do you do like daily habits?
Yeah, I do. I wake up. If I don't feel I slept enough, I do this non-sleep deep rest yoga nidra thing that I've talked about a bunch. We actually released a few of those tracks as audio tracks on Spotify. 10-minute, 20-minute ones. Puts me back into a state that feels like sleep, and I feel very rested. Actually, Matt Walker and I are going to run a study. He's just submitted the IRB to run a study on NSDR and what it's actually doing to the brain. There's some evidence of increases in dopamine, et cetera, but those are older studies, still cool studies. But so I'll do that, get up, hydrate, and if I've got my act together, I punch some caffeine down, like some Matina, some coffee, maybe another Matina, and resistance train 3 days a week, run 3 days a week. Okay. And then take 1 day off. And like to be done by 8:39. And then I want to get into some real work. I actually have a sticky note on my computer. It's like just like reminding me how good it feels to accomplish some real work. And then I go into it right now. It's the book writing, researching a podcast, and just fight tooth and nail to stay off social media, text message, WhatsApp, YouTube, all that. Get something done.
How long can you go? Can you go like 3 hours? Just deep focus?
If I hit a groove, 90 minutes to 3 hours if I'm really in a groove. That's tough.
That's for me. I start the day actually. That's why I'm afraid. I'd really prize those morning hours. I start with the work.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to hit the 4 hour mark of deep focus.
Great, I love it.
And often can't. I'm really, really big believer.
Yeah.
It's often torture, actually. It's really, really difficult.
Oh, yeah. The agitation. But I've sat across the table from you a couple of years ago when I was out here in Austin doing some work, and I was working on stuff you were working on. And I noticed you just like stare at your notebook sometimes, just like pen at the same position, and then you'll get back into it. Like there are those moments you're building that hydraulic pressure and then go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I try and get something done of value. Then the communications start. And talking to my podcast producer, my team is everything. I mean, like the magic potion in the podcast is Rob Moore, right? Who's has been in the room with me every single solo. Costello used to be in there with us, but that's it. People have asked, journalists have asked, can they sit in? Friends have asked. Nope, just Rob. And for guest interviews, he's there as well. And I talk to Rob all the time. All the time. We talk multiple times per day. And in life, I've made some errors in certain relationship domains in my life in terms of partner choice and things like that. And certainly don't blame all of it on them, but I've played my role. But in terms of picking business partners and friends, like, to work with, I mean, Rob's it's been bullseyes, and it's just Rob has been amazing. Mike Blayback, our photographer, and the guys I mentioned earlier, like we just communicate as much as we need to, and we pour over every decision with like near neuroticism before we put anything out there. And
so including like even creative decisions of like topics to cover, all that.
Yeah, like a photo for the book jacket the other day. Mike shoots photos, then and then we look at them, we pour over them together. Logo for the Perform podcast with Andy Galpin that we're launching. Like, is that the right contour? Mike's he's got the aesthetic thing because he was at DC so long as a portrait photographer. And he was close friends with Ken Block, who did Gymkhana, like all the car jumping in the city stuff. Like, I mean, Mike is a master. He's a true master of that stuff. And we just pour over every little decision. But even which sponsors, there are dozens of ads now. By the way, that whole Jazzerciser thing of me saying, "Oh, a guy went from a 2 to a 7." I never said that. That's AI. Like I would never call it number off somebody, a 2 to a 7. Are you kidding me? It's crazy. So is AI. If you bought the thing, I'm sorry. But like our sponsors, we list the sponsors that we have and why on our website, and like the decision: do we work with this person or not? Do we still like the product? I mean, we've got ways with sponsors because of like changes in the product or most of the time it's amicable, all good. But like just every detail, and that just takes a ton of time and energy. But I try and work mostly on content, and my team's constantly trying to keep me out of the other discussions.
Mhm.
But because I obsess. But yeah, you have to have a team of some sort, someone that you can run things by.
For sure, but one of the challenges, the larger the team is, and I'd like to be involved in a lot of different kinds of stuff, including engineering stuff, robotics work, research. All of those interactions, at least for me, take away from the deep work, the deep focus.
Right.
Unfortunately, I get drained by social interaction, even with the people I love and really respect and all that kind of stuff.
You're an introvert.
Yeah, like fundamentally an introvert. So to me, it's a trade-off, getting shit done versus collaborating. And I have to choose wisely, because without collaboration, without a great team, which I'm fortunate enough to be a part of, like you wouldn't get anything really done. But as an individual contributor, to get stuff done, like to do the hard work of researching or programming, all that kind of stuff, you need the hours of deep work.
I used to spend a lot more time alone. That's on my bucket list. Spend a bit more time dropped into work alone. I think social media like causes our brain to go the other direction. I try and answer some comments and then get back to work.
I'm really, after going to the jungle, I appreciate not using the device. I've played with the idea of like spending maybe like 1 week a month not using social media at all.
I used it so after that morning block, I'll eat some lunch and I'll usually do something while I'm doing lunch or something, and then a bit more work, and that real work, deep work, and then around 2:30 I do a non-sleep deep rest, take a short nap, wake up, boom, maybe a little more caffeine, and then lean into it again. And then I find if you really put in the deep work, 2 or 3 bouts per day, by about 5 or 6 p.m., it's over. I was down at Jocko's place not that long ago, and in the evening did a sauna session with him and some family members of his and some of their friends. And it's really cool. Like they'll all work all day and train all day, and then in the evening they get together and they sauna and cold plunge. I'm really into this whole thing of gathering with other people at a specific time of day. I have a gym at my house, and I Tim will come over and train, or that we've kind of slowed that down in recent months. But I think gathering in groups once a day, being alone for part of the day, I mean, it's like very fundamental stuff. We're not saying anything that hasn't been said millions of times before, but how often do people actually do that? And call the party, like be the person to like bring people together if it's not happening. That's something I've really had to learn, even though I'm an introvert. Like, hey, I'm like, gather people together. You came through town the other day, and a lot of people at the house. It was rad. Actually, it was funny because I was getting a massage when you walked in. I don't sit around getting massages very often, but I was getting one that day. And then everyone came in, and the dog came in, and like everyone was piled in. It was very sweet.
Again, no devices, but choose wisely the people you gather with.
Right. And I was close.
Thank you for clarifying. I wasn't, which is very weird. Yeah. The friends you surround yourself with. That's another thing. It's like I understood that from ayahuasca and from just the experience in the jungle. Is like just select the people. Just be careful how you allocate your time. I just saw on somewhere Conor McGregor has this good line. I wrote it down about loyalty. He said, "Don't eat with people you wouldn't starve with."
Oh.
That guy's, he's big on loyalty. All the shit talk, all of that, set that aside. To me, like, loyalty is really big. Because then if you invest in certain people in your life and they stick by you and you stick by them, and what else is life about?
Yeah, well, hardship will show you who your real friends are. That's for sure. And, we're fortunate to have a lot of them. It'll also show you who really like has put in the time to try and understand you and understand people. Like, people are complicated. I love that. So can you read the quote once more?
Don't eat with people you wouldn't starve with. Yeah, so in that way, a hardship is a gift. It shows you.
Definitely. And it makes you stronger. It definitely makes you stronger.
Let's go get some food.
Yeah, you're 1 meal a day guy.
Yeah.
I actually ate something earlier, but it was like a protein shake and a couple pieces of biltong. I hope we're eating a steak.
So I hope so too. I'm
Yeah.
full of nicotine and caffeine.
Yeah. What do you think? How you feel?
I feel good.
Yeah. I was thinking you'd probably like, I only did a half a piece and I won't have more for a little while, but
A little too good.
yeah.
Thank you for talking once again, brother.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Lex. It's been a great ride, this podcast thing. And you're the reason I started the podcast. You inspired me to do it. You told me to do it. I did it. And you've also been an amazing friend. You showed up in some very challenging times, and you've shown up for me publicly. You've shown up for me in my home, in my life. And, it's an honor to have you as a friend. Thank you.
I love you, brother.
Love you too.